So when I first started my project, the goal was to create a complete diet that includes a protein source, because obviously protein is necessary for human survival, and I decided to go with mealworms. Now, before you turn away with disgust, I would like to make my point why this is a good, efficient protein source. Firstly, let's look at other proteins that we consume. And when I'm talking about proteins right now, I'm talking about complete proteins such as meats. For beef, it takes 25 pounds of feed to create 1 pound of beef, in comparison to mealworms, which takes 2 pounds of feed to get 1 pound of mealworm meat. That makes mealworms more than 12 times more efficient as a protein source. What else? They can be farmed indoors, vertically, therefore using less land to farm, and we can even farm in urban areas. Like any other meat, you would cook these before eating them and flavor them as you would like. The flavor is kind of like, it's almost like eating a potato chip or nutty. It's not a bad flavor. Insects are not as closely related to us as pork or beef or even chicken. So therefore, the viruses and diseases that they carry are less likely to be compatible with our bodies, making them actually safer. I think that we're a lot more likely to find success in replacing our protein source with something that is more humane, more sustainable, and more resource efficient. So we're going to be setting up one of these boxes today, and I'll put these 100 mealworms in the box, and I'll show you that. It's supposed to be 100 mealworms, which is perfect for starting a population. These are mealworms. They get a little bit bigger than that. There's also a tropical relative that's edible, which gets much bigger than these. But the problem with growing those is that they are not very good at tolerating cold weather. And sometimes the weather gets pretty cold over here. These, what we call mealworms, are not actually worms at all. They are actually the larvae of a darkling beetle. Now this is when you want to eat them though, during this phase. Now I had seen, oh here we go, this right here, I don't know if you can see that well, that is a pupa. So that is what a mealworm turns into right before it turns into a darkling beetle. This is not something that I'm going to eat. This is a living thing right now that's in the pupa stage, and it will turn into a darkling beetle, and it will mate with another darkling beetle and lay plenty of eggs. And those eggs will turn into mealworms. You can't see all 100 of them in here, but they're buried in the soil, this substrate right here. It's actually, this is feed for them, really. You can use many different types of feeds. I'm going to use oat for mine. So there are many different types of setups that you can make or buy for breeding mealworms. When I was thinking of a setup design, I wanted to find something that I could make easily, that is affordable, and that I can seal from things like ants. Because if one ant can get in there, then you can have an ant line in there and they can eat the food that is supposed to be eaten by the mealworms. So I don't want an ant infestation, and I wanted to be able to stack them. So I'll just kind of go into what I built. You know, if you don't like this design, then you can look up other mealworm breeding designs that are out there. A lot of people breed mealworms for their chicken farms, but these are going to be for human consumption. So this box, they were like $4 each, and the box itself is not modified at all. It's just a box. It's the lid where all the changes have been made. I've cut the lid with a razor knife and just popped it out. As you can see, I have this tape here, and it is taping basically a cutting from a polyester bed sheet that I've cut to size, and I have taped it on both sides, and the ants aren't going to be able to crawl underneath this tape, so once again they don't have access. And then I put these pieces of wood here so that I can stack them. Now the screws for the piece of wood are actually, they're behind the seal. The seal covers those screw heads, and screw it right through the plastic, and you put these little pieces of wood on. Right here, I've put this, I don't know if it's called weather stripping, if it's for windows, I'm not exactly sure, but I found it at Home Depot and it was cheap. It came in a big roll, and basically to get those corners clean, you want to just cut it a little bit, not all the way, right here next to the corners, and then where the two sides meet, you have it angled like that, and that way that when it closes, it's gonna seal completely, and that's gonna help prevent those other bugs from getting in there. You see that you can just stack them one on top of the other, and that is well supported by that piece of wood, and the airflow gets in there and through that sheet. And this system has worked pretty well for me. And like I said, there's many strategies that people have, some of them much more intricate than this. I don't know what other people do about sealing off ants, but this is what I do, and it's very affordable. Before I ate a mealworm, I researched it thoroughly. I researched farming them, and before I started farming them, I wanted to try it, obviously. So my friend and I decided to try it together at the same time, and it was an interesting experience because I was scared to eat it, even though I knew that it was perfectly safe to eat. I had never eaten anything like that before, so it was just kind of a nerve-wracking thing. Once I actually took my first bite and realized that it tastes like a lot of foods, it's similar flavors that you're used to, your brain instantly kind of recognizes it as a food source. This is really for someone that wants to homestead and grow with less of a footprint, less resources, less maintenance, more efficiency, and get a complete nutritious diet from that. That's what this project is all about. So as the substrate, I basically just use plain oats, and it lasts them a long time. And then what you're also going to want to do is once in a while put moist vegetables in there. What I mean by moist vegetables is that, a vegetable that's not dried up, that contains some water, and from them eating the vegetables also, they're going to hydrate themselves. So the vegetable I'm going to use is just a scrap piece of cactus pad. So you just pour them in, spread them out a little, put my cactus pad in there, then put the 100 mealworms in there. You can see them all exposed. And they're gonna just slowly bury themselves in the soil. This is gonna go in my shed, and I'm going to check on it probably about every week and put a new cactus pad in there, new little slice, so that they have adequate moisture. The population will grow and grow, and once the population is very dense, then I will divide it up into more boxes. That's how my population grows. Pretty simple. There's different methods. Some people like to separate the larvae. This seems to be working fine for my needs, but you can do your own research and diligence to figure out exactly how you want to do it. Seal it up, and it's ready to go. Stack them, put them away, check on them maybe about once a week. If you put more vegetables in there, then you can leave them longer without checking on them. Very low maintenance, easy protein source.